I think we've talked a lot about the food. I do want to, before we end, I do want to have you share about the animals and the spiritual part of the animals and the ecology there, and also, the forests and the habitats and everything else that we want to take care of. I want to give them a little bit of time on this podcast too. Can you kind of expound on the Human Ecology Project and what you're sharing about the animals and habitats?
Okay. Can I just say, for me, and Bill's the same, when people learn that there are many reasons to refrain from eating animals, right? Not just about diet, but one can feel strongly about one, but maybe not about so much about the others, but some reasons are moral, some are practical, but the moral reasons are the reasons of the heart, right? And they have to do with our caring for animals as sentient beings that have a consciousness just like you and I do. They're not dissimilar from us in their own lives, right? So when out of that caring comes a moral need to respect the life of animals, right? And that's when, I don't want to bang on about, what veganism is and a moral, ethical choice, but that's basically what it is. It's not a diet, right? So the perception of animal consciousness allows us to observe the animals. They feel, they suffer, they bond with others, they raise their own families, they play, they learn. And through their form of thinking, although it might be more primitive than ours, it's apparent that they do think in a rudimentary way, right? And they do, therefore, have a consciousness. So anybody who holds life to be sacred and finds the reasons of the heart to not take that life, both out of respect for God's creation and out of respect for the individual life of the animal itself, that's what I like to try and put across. And then people have to think about it themselves. And, some insights that I always say to people about healing your own mind, your body, your spirit, in terms of moving towards that. It's just such a beautiful way to live. It's such a joy to live in spirit and feel that, you're not harming another being. And healing occurs through the integrating forces that restore and transform and sustain. And they nurture the whole person. They nurture the body. They nurture the body, the mind, the spirit. And, for me, each phase and every dimension of life and within relationships of the person to the creation, to other people, to God, whatever God means to each person, I look out the window and I see nature, that's God, right? And, I don't know. I wish I could get the world to see through my eyes, because it's the most beautiful way to live. I can't tell you. I'm so blessed. I had all these things.
Marlene, you're living in Eden. You're living in Eden, the original creation story where everybody was happy and flourishing, and everybody, nobody was eating each other. And I do think, whether you take the Bible literally or figuratively, if you've thrown it out entirely, it's an interesting story that says God, the energy under all of creation, brought everything into being, loved it all, said it was all good, and said, and you guys eat plants and frolic amongst yourselves as humans.
Exactly.
You're pretty high up there in terms of your abilities. So, be kind and take care of everybody.